Hello everyone, how are you today? We're very happy because finally, after almost a year working together and introducing all those Blockchain Game Alliance events, we have been able to meet in person in Paris. So we have Serena with us. I hope Luis will be able to join us someday as well, and we'll be hosting the three of us one event live. Um, as it is the end of the month, we are going to go about our new member presentation event today, and this is quite a crowded one. We are well over 10 people today, so we're going to meet a lot of new exciting projects, learn about them today. It's going to be a great event. I'm going to start with the usual presentation of the Blockchain Game Alliance for those of you who are not yet familiar. So yep, hopefully everyone can see my screen. Should be good. So
Yes.
already October this year. Yep. And well, the Blockchain Game Alliance, it's actually an organization that has a main goal to promote the adoption of blockchain technology within the video game industry. Our goal is to spread more awareness about the benefit from these technologies, such as non-fungible token, DAO, DeFi, decentralization, and more, and how they can help foster new ways to create game, publish game, let players enjoy new type of experience, earn from them, and build stronger communities around these games. We're a strong advocate for more diversity and inclusivity of women in our industry, and we're aiming to provide a place for individuals and companies to be able to network with each other, generate new business opportunity, new collaboration, work into different topics such as workshop, working group, publication. Obviously, give them more visibilities and represent them within the overall video game industry and beyond, and advocate, of course, for the use of blockchain, teach, explain, and present what's being done within our industry. We have a great number of sponsors, as you can see here, and we're actually going to introduce a new one who will be presenting today. So I'd like to give a big thanks to AMD, Antler Interactive, Splinterland, Ubisoft, Zaya, Fear, Illuvium, Gameloft, One Way Block, DNA Cat Kingdom, Metaverse Starmon, Star Atlas, Vulcan 4, Decimated, GIF Games, but there was Mirror World, Non-Fungible, Digital Asset Protocol, Gamer Ash, Game Change, IOI, Triumph Drops, Cartesi, Algorand, NRKX, Tezos, Boson Protocol, Polygon, Chromia, Nextap, Yoshi, Sushi Swap, NFTB, Contribute, Galaxy Interactive, Consensi, Polkadot, Dacoco, Ikernoon, BITKRAFT, Animoca Brands, DAPRunner, and Simplex. Actually, we're going to have two of them present today, Decimated and BITKRAFT. We'll learn very soon more about them. The BGA keeps growing. We are now well over 250 members with companies and projects from any side of the industry, whether they are games, gaming company, chains and protocol, marketplace, developer solution, esports, press, media, investors, and many others, all demonstrating the benefits and the application of blockchain technology within through their services. We run a great number of events, right? I stopped counting, but it's almost once a week, sometimes more, which range from interviews with industry leaders, a workshop on various thematics, new member presentation like today, once a month, various panels, as well as a demo day, which has become our most popular event, and where you get to discover product live as they are, like if you were the real users. So let's take a look at who are the new members who joined in October. We're welcoming Jens from BITKRAFT, Martin from Widow Game, Suprit from OneRare, Alex from Sensorium, Drew from Chain of Insight, and Stefan from Decimated. They will explain what they are doing in the space, show us our product, and without any further ado, let's welcome Jens from BITKRAFT. Hey, Jens, I think you're muted, actually.
Sorry, I'm talking and nobody's hearing me. That's bad. So what I was saying is
Thank you, Sebastien, for sort of inviting us to the BGA, and thank you again for all the work that you're putting into this. I have no idea how you do all of this while you run like one of the most interesting companies in the space as well. So thank you for all your work. We're excited to be part of this. First off, like I brought a bunch of supports. Carlos here on the stage as well as Nico from our investment team. Quickly going to share a couple of slides with you here. Trying to squeeze those into 10 minutes. Let me just see. I'm using the software for the first time. I do believe I'm sharing a full screen now. Am I? This will look a bit odd in full screen. Is this viewable? Sebastien, could you confirm?
Yeah, it's all good.
You can go full screen if you want, but we can see as well.
All right.
To answer your question, I can do it because I'm supported by a great team behind. That's all.
No, he's a superstar.
We appreciate it and praised. So who's BITKRAFT? What's this project that we're presenting here? BITKRAFT is a global investment platform in gaming and interactive entertainment. Our vision is to provide these sectors with like financial products, support to enable great ideas and great entrepreneurs to kind of grow and succeed. To give you a bit more context on what that actually sort of means in numbers, since the start of BITKRAFT about 5 years ago, right now, we grew to about $600 million in assets under management, about I think it's 60 plus portfolio companies as of today. And we praise ourselves for sort of leading about 80% of the deals that we engage in. The background of BITKRAFT is a story that sort of at some point in time started with myself. I'm a very passionate video gamer. I sort of fell in love in particular at some point in time with Quake, a game that really changed my life. When starting to play Quake, I sort of started to get a really strong belief and like passion for competitive play. Founded a league that you might know under the name and brand ESL, Electronic Sports League, which I built to become sort of the largest independent league for electronic sports. Sold the company in about 2015 to the Swedish Modern Times Group. About those years when I sort of phased out of ESL, I started an esports team called G2 Esports together with my co-founder, Carlos Rodriguez, which is known to win a lot of tournaments in League of Legends, Counter-Strike, and whatnot of these great esports games. We have also set out to start a company called Base Esports, which is like providing data services to the sports betting industry by collecting data in esports games, a company based here in Berlin as well. With sort of this entrepreneurial track record, at some point in time, I got to sort of switch the sides and like start to invest in companies. And that ultimately turned into what BITKRAFT is today. Where did sort of BITKRAFT start and what did it kind of get to? In about 2016, we established the first fund, which we call our pre-seed fund. That was about $20 million that we have been investing in about 19 portfolio companies. That was sort of followed by an early stage fund called BITKRAFT Venture Fund number 1, or BV1, with about $165 million that ended up investing in 39 portfolio companies. And currently we're investing out of 3 funds, which are sort of only one of those is publicly announced yet. The other ones were not allowed to sort of announce publicly just yet because they're sort of have their final closing imminently. And that is our BITKRAFT Venture Fund number 2, abbreviated as BV2, and our Opportunity Fund number 1, with sort of those respective investment amounts available to invest for us. The most important one in this context is this one here that you see on the bottom right, the BITKRAFT Token Fund number 1 that we announced about 2 weeks ago, which is about $75 million in sort of investment volume available for us. It's sort of stage agnostic. We like to invest in the seed stages. That's where I think our special ability and really like our most of our passion probably sits. But we are able to invest in later stages as well. So it's what we would say, like we're able to act agnostically across the stages. What's probably important at BITKRAFT, like what's our culture and our DNA with the firm, a couple of attributes that we think like we can be characterized as like entrepreneurial, which goes to sort of particularly my journey as having built companies before and like being able to support our portfolio companies with an entrepreneurial DNA and that experience in the back pocket. It just feels like we can sometimes provide a bit more context because we have seen the beautiful, rewarding and adrenalizing situations that you go through as a startup CEO and founder, as well as like just the difficult ones and not always so fun situations that you have to kind of get through. Like having a bit of entrepreneurial experience just oftentimes helps kind of to assist our founders in all of these situations. Knowledge and experience of us being like more than 20 years in this industry, and with much of what we've done before, like shaping it as well, when we talk about like gaming, esports, and interactive media. The portfolio support we provide with a dedicated team that's now supporting with kind of talent and recruitment or strategic business development. I'd say we're fairly forward-looking in the things that we invest in, which is on the one hand side characterized by this token fund. We were, I think, the first fund that sort of focuses and invests in gaming that has a dedicated token investment vehicle that's also like regulated under the US SEC. But also the investments that we do, if you look at our portfolio companies, like we invest in a range of kind of in a large spectrum of interesting technologies that all complement what we believe gaming, interactive media, and the like modern buzzword to add metaverse ultimately becomes, which includes like things like volumetric video, network traffic acceleration, like toxicity management in games, as well as lots of games IP. So it's a fairly broad spectrum that we cover, which we believe is fairly forward-looking stuff in there. We're sort of, we call it a winning team, but like I think we're fairly ambitious in what we do. Like we have some founders that tell us, which is very rewarding, like Jens, like we're kind of excited to work with you because like you inspire us with like the energy, the passion, and the pace that you're working with, and like, which probably goes to show like at the end of the day, we're all entrepreneurs, and we just love like our own firm BITKRAFT as well, and like to sort of be the best at what we can be, which ultimately is servicing like startups and new companies. With strong ethical compass, we're like honest people. We praise ourselves for like being very candid, very straightforward. Like you'll probably, hopefully hear that reflected in feedback you get in the market. We're global digitally native citizens. We're like distributed across the entire like Western world. We don't have a dedicated office. Not this, but mostly Zoom is actually where we live in with a team of 20 people we are right now. And we're oftentimes leading with interesting initiatives in the industry, such as our diversity initiative that we started a couple of like months ago that sort of hopefully drives forward like a better and more diverse kind of workforce in our startups as well as our own firm. A couple of themes that we invest in, and I'm mindful that I have 2 minutes left. Like we look at like content and IP, like game studios in particular now as well, supported and like enabled with blockchain technology, interactive platforms, which is things like Yield Guild, that we were like the lead investor in the seed round in blockchain and crypto world. We have invested in Manticore, which is a platform to kind of develop your own games and publish. On horizontal technologies, which is our understanding of technology that gets that gets born and sort of breed in the game space, but then ultimately transcends outside of the space and finds its application like in like potentially Hollywood or sports entertainment or similar. Arcturus is like a company that deals with like making volumetric video, a technology that I mentioned before, like available to a larger audience and like deliver a real step function and visual experience is one example of that. Immutable, again, like one of the crypto side is an example of a technology that like spends outside of the games industry ultimately. And then we have a bucket we call applied game mechanics that's less applicable here. It's our understanding of like, how do you apply like game mechanics and the understanding of how to operate games in consumer-facing services and make them better by sort of applying those. It's probably the smallest like of our themes that we invest in. With this last slide, and I'm perfectly fine on 10 minutes as I can see, we're a team of about close to 20 now, and we are, as I mentioned before, like distributed throughout that Western world. You see the entire list here. That gentleman here that I'm going to zoom in on real quickly, you know already. Pierce, he's a member of the board in the BGA as well. And the sort of people I kind of brought along in this conference here, Nico, who just joined us about a week ago, as well as Carlos, who's sitting right here and is in New York right now, are the people that are like the closest on to you in the sense of like forming our crypto investment team. And with that, I am done with my presentation. Very German of me to be so timely. I'm going to stop sharing and will maybe hand it over to other people for questions or to Sebastian to pass the torch on to the next presenter.
Thanks, Jens. It's been an amazing presentation, perfectly on time, and great to see that we have some of the key people as well of the BITKRAFT investment team with us on this stream right now. It's quite uncommon actually to meet an investor that's so deeply passionate about the space, and also you can see face to face all the people that will be part of like the investment committee and make decisions. I guess we'll leave some question to either our members today or the audience in case they have some for you, and I will save mine for after.
All right.
So we're trying to see don't have questions in the audience, but if anybody here has got question for Jens, then go ahead.
And in case you just can't come up with any right now, you know where to find us, bitkraft.vc. Some of my dear team members will paste some sort of, can we actually post that publicly for people? Does that work in this thing?
Yeah, well, just put it in the chat. We'll be able to.
We'll do exactly that. And we will have to sort of excuse ourselves to go on our weekly deal flow call to make sure that we find the best startups in the space and support them well. So that's our promise. So we will thank you very much, Sebastian and Serena, for having us, and look forward to a great time in the BGA. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jens. See you soon.
So we are now moving on to Martin Spinetto from Widow Games. So welcome, Martin.
Hey, Serena, Sebastian. How are you guys? Everything fine?
Hello,
thank you. Thank you very much for having me here. After so many times that I've been, watching your seminars, workshops, and so on, and to be, part of the community and being on the other side of the screen for once is actually an honor. So thank you very much.
Thank you, and welcome to the BGA.
Yes, very personally happy to have you here because I've known Martin for quite some time in the video game industry from Argentina, and it's great to see him being interested. And after watching all those sessions we had, now like stepping in, launching a game of his own, and we're going to learn more about it today.
Perfect. Yeah. And I come from Latin America, so I will do my best to be as punctual as the German. I don't promise anything, to be honest, but I will do my best. So let me share the screen right now. So if I did it correctly, you should be seeing the screen right now.
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So let me tell you a little bit about the company and my background. Basically, I used to work in different corporations for almost 15 years. I started working on Marlboro back in the 90s, which is very unhealthy, as you can imagine. But I moved to more interesting things like Milka, Toblerone, and Philip Morris. And after many years, I started working on Microsoft, where it became more digital. And I used to be the marketing director for Latin America for stuff like, Hotmail, Windows Live Messenger, Windows Vista even. I pushed Windows Vista, which is the hardest thing that I ever do. But actually it was, very interesting. And in 2012, I decided to create my own company. I wanted to become an entrepreneur. And I thought, what, if I'm such a huge fan of video games, I should start with that. Well, so basically I started myself with video games with just one cell phone and one computer. And I have to say that right now we are a team of 14 people working for different nationalities and countries. So very proud of that. And also with me, my right hand is Augusto Pepe Carrero, which used to be the PO and game designer for the Trivia Crack franchise. It's one of the biggest trivia in the world, actually. From Latin America, pretty well. So he used to manage, a lot of users. And so we come basically from the other side of the business, which is, the freemium business. And we are a proud member of the BGA right now. That's the first thing that I would like to mention. And also we were selected for the Google Indie Games Accelerator back in 2019. And we do have, and especially because we are doing fundraising right now, I'm happy to say that we are updating this slide almost every week, with new backers that are, coming on board, such as CDFI and TrustPark, for instance, as accelerators, and OIG, FISDAO, and more, backers coming from the crypto businesses. Okay, because we already have, investors from the other side. So, as I mentioned, we have more than 15 mobile games already developed in our history. Most of them are based on classic and famous board games, especially in the Latin region. But let's say after 3 years, we decided, you know what? What if we mix the technology and innovation behind the Pokemon Go with a classic board game mechanic like the Monopoly, okay? And with that in mind is that we created Geopoly, okay? What is Geopoly? Geopoly is a mid-core economic simulator game that combines real board data with geolocation, allowing users to rent, buy, upgrade, and sell real-life properties all over the world, okay? So this is how the mobile game looks like, because the mobile game has been already launched 1 year ago, okay? We are in soft launch. So basically, wherever you are in the world, it will show you everything around you that you can buy. Could be a bar, could be a restaurant, could be a stadium, could be a company, you name it, all over the world, okay? And you can start, buying that, and you can start trading that with other players and so on, just the Monopoly in real life. So also very important, you can create branches, okay? Because those are extremely important, because it's going to give you management capacity to continue buying, okay, and to control the progress of the players. We do have the rankings, so you can, measure your network with other players in the world and in your country as well. Then we have, and this is very important in the pandemic, that we created these exploration features, with basically you can, in seconds, you have a list of more than 80, and we're going to add more, 80 big cities in the world that just with one click, you go, you travel, you hire a satellite, you travel to that city. And when you are in that city, you can actually drop a drone, and you can start flying the drone across the city, looking for new opportunities to buy new stuff. Okay, for instance, here, I don't know where I'm flying right now, to be honest, but I think it's New York. Then I land the drone, and I can actually buy, I think it's a bus stop. Okay, there I go. Another thing that we have, obviously, the auctions, where right now people all over the world is, offering their properties to other players across the world. You can place your bid there, and you can buy them. Okay, very straightforward. And then we have the Armor Track, which is the way that we control the passive income of the users. And another thing that we launched very recently is what we call the business goal, which is like a tutorial with rewards. Okay, for us, it's very important to people to understand how an economic simulator works, and especially right now, because our hypothesis is that we can move people from the freemium mobile space to the blockchain side of the game. Okay, and it's very important to educate people why they should do that, and why it's so important, and why it's so funny, to do that. So we created this new session that you start with as an entrepreneur, and you have different goals. And once you fulfill that, you move to the secondary category, like a startup, and you start with your startup and so on. And also, if you continue fulfilling this in the category, you get a huge category reward, as you can see right now, because I fulfill 100% as an entrepreneur. Okay, but it's very important, the retention of the player. And Sebastian, you come from the same space, very well that retain the player is very important in the freemium space. So in a nutshell, the way that the game works is you build new branches. With that, you have management capacity to buy and rent businesses. You can invest in upgrades on those. And by doing so, you gain XP. With XP, you level up your headquarters. And each time you do that, you get a new branch, okay? And you continue to cycle. And another thing that we are building right now is, because we do have the economic simulator, we wanted to have a competitive side of the game. So we are building a PvP where players will be able to attack other players' branches, okay, and steal their resources, okay? We needed that, also to have the people engaged for us for years. That's the goal. So we're building, everything around 3D in terms of how you defend your branches, okay, passive defenses, and as well, how do you attack and support that attack, okay? So as you can see, this is Geopoly right now in mobile. We are creating this new ledger over the blockchain. But the most important thing is that it is going to be just one game. It's not going to be two separate games, okay? So basically, you can play in each layer that you want. You can play on the off-chain layer, or you can play on the on-chain. And the difference in the storytelling is that when you play on the off-chain, on mobile, let's say, you will be able to rent the places, okay, and make an income on that. But if you go to blockchain, you can actually buy the places, okay, and make tokens with that, okay? Just the same as reality, actually, okay? So we will have these two in-game economies running in parallel, and they will both affect each other. So this is something that for us is totally new, and we are super excited to start trying that. And we believe that is going to be part of the of the future of the games, trying to have this separate platform and trying to come up with just one huge metaverse. Okay, so basically that's me and Geopoly. So whatever you have any question, I'm free to ask to respond. Sorry.
Thank you, Martin. Great presentation. I do actually have a question for you about this game. It's very exciting. I wanted to ask what kind of challenges or opportunities do you see about merging on-chain and off-chain technologies for the users and also for the economy of the game in the medium-long run?
Mm-hmm. That's a good question. I believe that the special challenge is about the how to manage the in-game economies, these two in-game economies, because on the freemium space, the off-chain side of the game, you do have a hyperinflationary economy, okay, that is growing like crazy all the time, and you do have, and we did implement different things to control that economy. But how can you create something that can be expanded to the on-chain side of the game where you don't have that luxury? And something that we are doing is basically in the off-chain, we do have two currencies. We do have the soft currency and the hard currency. And the soft currency, you can create that, all that you want. We don't mind that. But the hard currency, you buy that only with fiat. And what we are going to do is we are going to create this exchange rate between the hard currency and the tokens. Okay, so wherever you make on the off-chain, you can actually go to the blockchain version of the game and exchange that for tokens. And then we have another in-game economy. But I would say that, coming up with the right in-game economy right now, when both economies can be together in that sense, is the most challenging thing that we are doing.
Very interesting. First of all, congrats. The game on mobile looks fantastic. I think there's a lot of depth in gameplay. You can spend time into upgrading, exploring. All the UX looks fantastic. So I'm sure that this can be a game that can be massively appealing to a broader casual audience. And I hope by joining the Blockchain Game Alliance as well, you'll be able to chat with other members and try to discuss an approach in an open manner on our Discord and other channels to find the right way that will bridge the two economies into one.
Definitely.
It's actually a topic we are thinking to make a panel or a workshop soon at the BGA, because there's more and more existing game that are doing that transition as well. And I think there will be great learnings to take away from them.
Definitely. We are here to learn. We are on a sponge mode right now, learning, everything, and every day something new. And I believe that we do have a question here from Mikhail. Can I start playing Geopoly for free and earn while I need there along the play? Or it is like Axie Infinity, you have to pay upfront to even start? That's an excellent question. I mean, no, you can start playing for free on the off-chain, obviously, and you can make hard currency there, and then you can exchange that hard currency into token on the blockchain version where you need to log in and create your wallet. Okay, that is why we are implementing Bentley as well, because for us, it's the onboarding process is very challenging for people that is not crypto savvy. So being able to create a wallet with just using a Facebook account is very important. But again, you can do that, and actually, it's our strategy is that give you something on the off chain that you can take that and go to the blockchain side and continue playing there. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And thank you, Mikhail, for the question. So once again, welcome to the BGA, and we'll see you and the game very soon on this channel. So we now
Thank you.
welcome Saprit from OneRare. So we've seen
Hi.
Saprit recently, hello, on the DeFi gaming panel.
Gamify. Yeah.
Gamify, yes. So we'd love to hear more about the project, and we'll let you now
Absolutely.
present on stage
Yes.
OneRare.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Serena and Sebastian, for having me today. I'll just quickly go into present mode. Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
Okay, perfect. I was trying to attempt to just make this full screen, but I think it's not agreeing with me. So I think this is the best that'll happen for now. But thank you so much. I just want to also give a shout out to Martin. I had a really good time hearing about Geopoly, and I think it's a fantastic game. It was something new and exciting to see in this space, to talk about cities and all. And I really wish him all the best for his project. I really look forward to playing that game. And then, yes, coming from the cities to the land of food, which is OneRare, we are building the Foodverse for Web3, and I'd like to take you along on this journey with me today. First, I'll talk about me and my co-founder, Gaurav. We are the builders, and we are building the Foodverse of OneRare. I have a design background. I actually studied design for 11 years, and I teach design as well. And Gaurav, on the other hand, has a technical background with a marketing specialization. And together, we are also married and co-founders. So it's been a very personal and professional integration for us. When we started getting into the blockchain industry in 2017, we started working for projects like Dash, and we often wondered what it is that we would bring to the blockchain as our own project. If we ever built something that could engage people, excite people, and sort of lead to the next layer of adoption. As people who were heavily involved in blockchain, we were constantly surrounded by people who were very curious about how they can enter. They would see various news about cryptocurrencies, about the blockchain, but when we could, kind of direct them towards something, towards a particular platform, it would be quite hard for us to do that. Lo and behold, as the pandemic stuck and we were at home, we decided to build our own project and start brainstorming over what it is that we can bring. With OneRare, we basically wanted to create a game, a way to actually encourage the next wave of blockchain adoption, rather than being a very technical game, rather than being, a game that is only suited to people who deeply understand the blockchain and the system of creating a wallet, the systems of, knowing how everything works exactly. We actually are creating OneRare as an educational platform, as a gender-neutral platform, and an interesting foodverse, where a simple theme of food encourages and attracts gamers. With food, we're also trying to create a global reach for the food and beverage industry. There is a massive, massive opportunity for people from the F&B industry to actually come onto the blockchain using OneRare. Thirdly, to be food partners for all other Web3 projects, with all the gaming and the metaverses that are coming up, to become a food partner for them. Fourth, to bring NFTs to life through allow people to have an option to swap their NFTs in real life as well for meals and deals. And lastly, to work on the cause of action against hunger. We have been through a pandemic, and it has not only been hard on us, but much, much harder on the marginalized populations across the world. And through our food project, we would like to work towards the cause of eliminating world hunger by kind of spreading this message wider, raising funds, and bringing that together. So with this large vision, I would like to now take you into the metaverse of OneRare and talk a bit more about how we're planning to bring this vision together. So OneRare basically celebrates food in its purest form. Everybody here has a dish they love. Everybody here has a dish that they would just not eat for $1 million. And that particular excitement for food, that particular opinion of food is what OneRare is all about. We will be covering cuisines from all across the world, festive menus from various festivals that happen, special events that keep happening, whether it is the Olympics, whether it is Titanic that is setting sail again in 2022. We will basically be talking about all kinds of food, something that everybody can relate with. What OneRare does is that we gamify those recipes where people can kind of engage in a food verse, collect ingredients, cook, play various kinds of mini games, and engage in food related games. We also will have a lot of food collaborations with chefs, food brands, Web3 projects, like I mentioned, to kind of bring the theme food, the theme of food together to the blockchain. The heart of OneRare lies in its dishes. Everybody has a particular dish that they love, like I said, and those dishes, like real life, can be made if we have the right ingredients. You know, you want to make a French fries at home, you need cooking oil, potato, and salt. OneRare requires you to do just that by collecting all the ingredients. Once you have these set of ingredients, you can actually unlock the French fry dish NFT, and the OneRare French fries will become yours. In this similar vein, we'll be covering dishes from all across, and they can either be rare, which means that they'll keep getting more difficult as they'll be priced on a curve, or they would be rarest of all, special dishes of which only one NFT will ever exist. To go through this entire game, you basically traverse our food verse, where we have 4 different sections for all our gamers. We have the farm, which is a play to earn farm for all the farmers to come in and grow their ingredient crops. So you can come in and you can grow your potato, tomato, your salt. Once you've successfully harvested your crop, you can take it to our farmers market, which is our marketplace, and sell these ingredients to other collectors. Or you can collect these ingredients for your own recipe, take them to the kitchen, and cook up your dish NFT. Using these particular ingredients and dishes, you can now have a lot more fun because you can take them to our playground and play a lot of games which involve these NFTs and will kind of take you forward in your food journey. Here, I'd like to talk about 2 particular games that are the first launches that we are going to have. The first is Hippo Full, which is a very exciting, cute, simple game for people to have their first blockchain slot experience. Hippo Full is the first NFT slot machine. What that means is that there's a very hungry hippo, and you can feed that ingredients. At some point of time, that hippo is going to get full. And when he's very, very full, he is going to vomit out all that he's eaten to the last wallet that fed the hippo. So it's kind of like this cute try your luck NFT slot machine, which will basically allow users to have their first experience on the blockchain, kind of engage with the game where it's a very simple process to get a reward. The second game that we have is for dish NFT owners, where, for example, you have made a lasagna and I have made a pad thai and somebody's made a French fries. And we can go head to head in a food truck battle where in a 3-minute gameplay, we have to earn the most amount of money for our food truck. So similarly, we have a lot of things around food planned, which will keep the player immersed in our food verse and keep them engaged in very fun and simple ways. Talking about the metaverse, it will be running on the OneRare token. The token has a lot of utility, and people can basically use that to transact on our farmers market, play games, go for in-game upgrades, as well as participate in our governance token. Talking about our collaborations further, because I find this space of OneRare to be very exciting. We feel very blessed and privileged that we are coming as the first food people bringing food from the real industry to the metaverse of, of OneRare. What we're basically doing is that we're partnering with a lot of people and bringing their dishes in various ways to OneRare. We're collaborating with celebrity chefs and tokenizing their iconic recipes. We're also talking to a lot of restaurants and bringing their famous menus, their bestseller dishes. Like we have Taco Bell's famous tacos that are already as NFTs. Similarly, we're talking to restaurants from all across the world and bringing their recipes to OneRare, as well as having ingredients that are branded. So rather than just a ketchup, having a Heinz ketchup, rather than just a salt, we have the Grover's salt. So basically allowing all these brands that have only local access till now of being maybe an American brand or an Australian brand, giving them an opportunity to come onto the blockchain and actually have global reach that they can monetize. The second kind of collaboration that we have is being food partners for Web3. What we're seeking to do is to give a little fun food element to all the other projects around us. Whether they are games with characters, like, for example, having the Axie monsters, creating an Axie lasagna for them with all kinds of special ingredients like rainbow sauce, like Amrit, which is a nectar of immortality and should give them some kind of strength to go on. Splinter Pie for the dragons in Splinterlands, or magic meatballs for the My DeFi pets using cactus crumbs and a demon egg sauce in the mix. So creating exciting dishes for game characters, or going into metaverses like Sandbox, and creating special pop-up restaurants for them, parties if they're ever, willing to have a party. We're more than willing to be the food suppliers for that. Giving food in during marathons and special events that are happening in other metaverses as well. So in its own cute way, bring a food twist to everything that is happening on the blockchain right now. In terms of our road, we are actually currently raising funds and heading for our IDO in mid-November. We have a testnet live right now, and you can go and start building your recipes over there. And as we go along, we would also like to introduce the OneRare bar, which will feature cocktails from across the world in a similar vein, as well as desserts, and introduce the mobile gaming layer, which would be our food truck and the hippo. Eventually take our hippo as a diplomacy hippo all across the chains, kind of help bring that joy of food to every particular chain and everybody across the blockchain. And helping us do that is Polygon, which we're going to be releasing on first, as well as Engine. We've been very blessed with a lot of good angels on our project that have been helping us grow. And yes, I don't know whether I was on time or not, but happy to answer any questions about OneRare and talk about food and that ways on. So thank you so much for having us today.
Thank you. It's such an interesting project. And honestly, when I see all these fancy looking food, it's just so appealing. I don't see questions here right now, but I welcome everyone to check OneRare NFT. You see here scrolling on the text. But yeah, I do have actually a brief question for you. How did you come up with this idea of integrating food and NFTs? Like, what was the inspiration for
Actually, because I mean, like you said before, there are very few women in crypto, and so there are very few projects that are actually in a visual way appealing to women. When we started talking about something that we wanted to build, this was back in January, and NFTs and CryptoPunks were beginning to gain traction. And at that point, we were just kind of discussing what it is that we would do. And for me, the simple thought about how school fractions are taught with apples and pies and oranges, the simplicity of food was very appealing to create something that just, I mean, if Luis sees a casado, he knows that this is a dish he understands. And if I see a butter chicken, I know what that dish means. Everybody has a food memory. Everybody finds it easier to, see something they identify. It's not just a monster. It's not just an armored person, that it just, for me, food is something I'm very passionate about. Travel and food is something I'm extremely passionate about. And I think the theme just came naturally from we wanted to enjoy our project while we made it. And every time we make a recipe for My DeFi pets or for Axes or for our own selves, we just have so much fun doing it that food just worked the best for us.
Yeah, I would like to add something. It just came to my mind, like a very cool feature would be if you own an NFT of a recipe from for instance, a famous restaurant, maybe you can unlock something when ordering something from a delivery app such as Uber Eats. And I have the NFT of this recipe, so maybe there's a discount or an additional ingredient or something like that would be a very cool feature to actually
so that's what the
NFT.
swap NFT feature is, exactly that. We want to create a point where the NFTs can actually be swapped for real meals or real ingredients. If you're looking to, if you have a OneRare Heinz ketchup, you can go to a supermarket and claim that as well.
Absolutely, yes. Bridging physical and digital is definitely something that we'll see happening more and more in the future. Well, Supreet, thank you so much for this presentation, and welcome to the BGA.
Thank you so much, Serena. Thank you.
Wonderful. So we are now moving on and let Drew present Chain of Insight. So Drew, welcome.
Hi everyone, is my mic okay? I know I got like a dollar store microphone here.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, cool. And is my screen sharing?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So we are a blockchain game studio called Chain of Insights. And when I say that we are a game studio, I really mean it in multi-sense of the word, in the sense that we are building blockchain games, and we're also building tools for other blockchain game companies to use. Essentially, we are two humans who are the founders. Myself, I do a lot of the art stuff and the project management side of things, and I'm the main storyteller. But both Josh and myself are cryptographers and programmers. We got a strong technology background. I put underneath here in the black just kind of our other jobs in case you have heard of us. Josh is very big in the Tezos scene, and I work as a SDK developer for a new project, a brand new blockchain that you're going to be hearing about shortly, in partnership with Cosmos and Tendermint. And we started out in 2020, and we built a tool and we built a game. And we were just sort of testing our waters, and our first game was just a small puzzle game. We make cryptographic puzzle games. You may have heard of some of the games of that style that exist. There are the games coming out of blockade games, like the Tortured Hearts puzzle, Coins Eden, and you have other stuff as well, like Satoshi's Treasure. That was an interesting game very briefly on the scene. And then the other thing that we did last year in 2020 as well is we made our own framework for zero-knowledge cryptographic proofs. And of course, that might sound a little crazy. I'm sure you've all heard about other ZK-proof frameworks, the biggest of which is an Ethereum-based solution that came over from Zcash called ZK Snarks. What we've been using this for is we've been working on a tournament ladder structure. So if you're familiar with esports gaming, you have ways of computing rankings of different players. The most well-known one is coming from the chess scene. This is the original structure, often called ELO. Later on, especially for video games, this standard was revisited with the Glicko algorithm, later the Glicko 2 algorithm. But really difficult problem to do these kind of structures on blockchain, especially for a puzzle game, unless you have some way that everyone else can calculate that the puzzle solution that the player has submitted is correct. But of course, how do you do that on a blockchain without actually leaking the secret of what that solution is, essentially ruining the game for other players? Like, of course, if you know what the answer is, you can see if someone else was correct. But this is why we've created this zero-knowledge framework and how we're using it in the esports tournament ladder. This is a Tezos technology. So what we did, in 2020, as I said, we built Satoshi's Lost Faucet, a very small puzzle game with a Bitcoin prize, and we built on Tezos our proving engine, which controls our esports tournament ladder. And then we combined them into our flagship game, which we came out with this year. So this is a Tezos-based puzzle solving competition called Project UAnon. The games are largely cryptographic puzzles, so they do take a bit of tech knowledge sometimes, but the game itself is very culturally relevant as well. The story is basically set around COVID-19, misinformation in the media, anti-vax movements, all these kinds of perfect storm scenarios going on in modern media that have led to a lot of polarization in our culture as humans. That is what Project UAnon is about, and it's tackling it through a story which is very strikingly similar to the pandemic, which we are currently hopefully coming out of. So there is over 100,000 US dollars in XTZ prizes on the Tezos blockchain. Oh, I didn't actually mean to play that. I'm just trying to switch the slide. So the underpinning protocol, this is called the POPMG Zero Knowledge Proofs Framework. I just wanted to touch on the fact that I'm sure everyone here has heard of other secret sharing protocols. How do you prove that something is true without leaking that secret? There are other blockchain protocols. I briefly touched on ZK Snarks. Things like the Chainlink Town Crier implementation, or like the secret blockchain, which rely on hardware solutions using Intel GX or SGX or other secure hardware solutions. It is not really like a long-term sustainable way to go, because it does require that you have a specific type of computer. So it's not good for something like computing verifications and generating proofs of knowledge that can be verified if you're on a very low power compute environment, say something like a mobile phone. So this is true of ZK Snarks too. And some people in the gaming community might know there are already other games out there, especially on Ethereum, which are using ZK Snarks. There is a lot of like compute that goes into this. So there is benefits of having something like our protocol, which powers our tournament ladder in UAnon, because we call it POPMG. It stands for Proof of Puzzle. And Pop Machine Glow is a reference to a Canadian song. But yeah, the main cool thing about what we do is that it just has like very low compute resources. Like the cost of compute resources is greatly reduced over something like ZK Snarks. At least in terms of generating proofs. Of course, in ZK Snarks, you can verify them fast. But of course, the question is like, what can we do with those proof capabilities? Because the way that we generate our zero knowledge proofs, actually, it is reducing the scope of the kind of knowledge claims that you can make, unless you have a trusted third party setup. Of course, if you do have trusted third party implicit to your system, you're much closer to something like the Intel SGX systems of like secret blockchain or Chainlink Town Crier implementation for a secret sharing scheme. However, what we're interested in and what we're using already and what powers the leaderboard in Project UAnon is we're able to make reliable integer comparisons that can be proven in zero knowledge, which means that the position of anyone on, so we can compute all the game scores and we end up with a leaderboard in our game. And the cool thing about this is any player, without knowing the secret, can prove that a person of a higher rank than them deserves that placement within the game. And then the other cool thing that we can do with our zero knowledge proofs is that, traditionally in the blockchain puzzle game scene, there's been a lot of things like where you find a private key and then you have to sweep a wallet. There's a lot of sort of manual steps. All of that's really removed in Project UAnon. So when you solve the puzzle, if you send gas to the puzzle oracle, you will get the prize. So I just put up a couple NFT in-game items, which you can unlock when you solve certain puzzles. And then I put a Tezos symbol here too, because of course you can also unlock XTZ rewards. So essentially, when you are solving the final puzzle of a season, you're paying the gas, submitting a zero knowledge proof, and the oracle is sending you back an NFT. And if you were the first person that was able to solve that particular puzzle, you'll also receive the XTZ prize. each season in the game has 10,000 US dollars in prizes. The final prize for unlocking the end game, which is the first person to solve all the seasons and assemble all 6 NFTs, that person will receive a prize of 50,000 US dollars in XTZ Tezos. So all in, the game is $100,000 in prizes. And just one final point about what this system is able to do is, like, we're not only, you know, like directly what Project UAnon does is we're using it to control position on the leaderboard, using it to dispense rewards securely and fairly. So what we've got is a provably fair system here that everyone can verify. But that's not like the end of the scope of what we would be able to achieve with our zero knowledge proof system. So another idea that we're currently working with is looking at NFT token distributions, like projects that have a Discord whitelist. You know, how do you stop people from Sybil attacking your NFT distribution? You know, they create a bot script. One person grabs 100 NFTs of a 200 NFT distribution before anyone else, because they've scripted it and they've added lots of different wallets to the whitelist. We can actually do something like a CAPTCHA using just the same protocol. So CAPTCHA technology for blockchain, essentially, like, instead of proof of puzzle, you have proof of humanity. That is a project that we're engaged with right now as a kind of extensibility project to the Pop Machine Glow zero knowledge proof framework that we're using right now for our esports tournament ladder. And yep, that's pretty much it for us. The game is live now. Currently, seasons 0, 1, and 2 are playable, and season 3 will be out shortly within the next few weeks. Of course, the prizes have already been won for seasons 1 and 2. Congrats to those players who won them. But season 3 will be launching within the next couple of weeks. It's a great time now to get involved in the game and learn about it, so you're ready when season 3 drops. When season 3 drops in the next few weeks, there will be another $10,000 prize up for grabs. So I wish you all good luck.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Drew, for this presentation. And yes, I think once again, it's a good time, as you said, to be joining this project and to learn more about it. So congratulations on all the steps achieved, but definitely looking forward for these new goal that you have ahead.
Cool. Well, thank you for giving me a chance to present all of this. You know, cryptography is always a difficult thing to talk about, so definitely feel free to hit me up if there's any questions, either, you know, right now or after the presentation.
There's actually a question here for you from Mikael. So do you publish your findings in a form of some open source, or is it proprietary software? I mean,
yeah,
based on
everything that we... Oh, sorry, did I cut you off?
Based on that you use Tezos, it might be useful for the community.
Yeah, that's right, Mikhail. Great point. Everything that we do is open source. We're pretty hardcore about that. Let me just get our GitHub user and put it in the chat so you can see all of our repositories, because there are a lot of them. And the other thing that we've done that's kind of in the same vein of thinking as that is we published our research paper for the zero knowledge proofs protocol. So here's our GitHub user. All of our code is there. The entire zero knowledge proofs framework, it's all there. You can look at Project UAnon contracts repo for that information. But of course, even the DApp is open source, and we encourage people to run it, modify it. And all of our cryptography primitives and everything are open source as well. You can look at the provers directory, or repository rather.
Yes, we are sharing it here now. Wonderful, thank you. So yeah, I don't have any other question, but as said before, please feel free and actually make sure to follow all the updates about these amazing projects that we're presenting today. So once again, thank you, Drew, and welcome to the BGA. Wonderful. So we're now moving on to our next speaker, which is Alex, and we welcome you onto the virtual stage. Hello, Alex.
Hi everyone. Thanks. It's actually, I like the way you're doing this. I said to my team today that you guys are doing I think one of the best case how to reach the engagement of the members of the Alliance. And I do believe we're going to share the news with your members, hopefully. And first of all, I really thank you to Sebastien to let us in and become the members of the Blockchain Game Alliance, and we're quite quick. So we're here at Sensorium, and let me show you what we're actually doing. Let me share the screen. Share the screen. So yeah, you should probably see that. You're seeing my browser, and now you see my presentation, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm starting. So Sensorium, we started like several years ago in 2019, before the COVID-19, and where the world was not about the virtual reality, and we were the pioneers about this stuff. And we started our journey developing the metaverse. So what we are doing actually, so we developing the platform, which is actually AI-centric. It's a digital metaverse. It's AI-focused metaverse. We starting from the avatars, which designed by the famous artist Jason Beer, and then we are developing the locations, virtual locations. We have several different ones like Prism, Motion, Starship. They all have separate names. So basically, this platform allows us to create XR experience for the users. We start from the mobile app, which already released, by the way. You can download it from the Apple and Google stores. Everyone can enjoy the social AI. And if you guys have seen the movie Free Guy with Ryan Reynolds, it's probably what we are doing. We allow users to create their own NPC. And soon, in the next release, there will be a dance moves, and the avatar is going to be dancing, and it will be looking like you're creating your own character, and this character is doing its own TikTok moves. But that's what we are doing in the main product. So we're creating the metaverse. Behind the scene, we have the blockchain. We call it Vacata, and I'm going to give some detailed explanation what it looks like and why we're doing this. So in general, it's if we're comparing ourselves with Amazon. So Amazon have a main store, which is for us Sensorium Galaxy is a main product, which you can access through the mobile app, you can access through the virtual helmet, or through the desktop. And we have our own infrastructure. Before that, currently we are based on Ethereum. So we have our in-game currency, which is called Sensor. You can get this on a crypto exchange and use it to buy and customize your own characters. But next, we're planning to move on our own blockchain, which we developed. And we made a public launch in Token 2049 in London several weeks ago. We met Sebastien. And Vacata is based on Polkadot, and I'll give you some explanation. So it looks like we're doing kind of Amazon Web Services, and Amazon is how the Vacata is related for the Sensorium. So Sensorium is going to be the first step on Vacata. So what it actually looks like Sensorium. Sensorium is the thing which allows us to create endless content using AI. So we give you and users the visual environment, and we give the users AI, a GPT-3 powered interface, and allow user to create its own NPC. And then NPC using a special services like Moobird, which creates the music, or our library of moves, they can create the content together with AI. So basically, the users are creating the metaverse together with AI. And all piece of content is, of course, our NFTs. So in 2021, we're planning to launch location Prism and do a concert of David Guetta, and we already launched the mobile app. So next year, we're planning to do other concerts of the big names. I'm going to give some examples. So we actually sign up those wonderful gentlemen and the lady we have a list of top 10 DJs altogether. So they give us the funnel about 500 million audience they're reaching now. So this is the David Guetta, Armin van Buuren, Carl Cox, Dimitri Vegas, Black Coffee, and the much more other big, wonderful names. So each of them will host the concerts in virtual location we're planning to run quite soon. So this virtual location called Prism. This location is created together with a team who create Ibiza most famous clubs, High and Ushuaia. So they named High Scream and Mr. Jan Pissenem. So, and this gentleman, this DJ is going to be setting in their performances in special designed virtual location Prism. And while there's going to be no performance, we have a special design AI avatars who are going to be the AI first ever DJs playing their sets. So imagine AI playing a music there. The mobile app, which is already released, it allows you to interact with the character. So you can talk, you can call, you can negotiate, and you can do a dance. So there is a kind of a special configurator of TikTok dance performance, and you can choose from the library of the moves and create your own stage performance and share with your friends in AR, and others can see that things happening in augmented reality in real life. So also you can change the narrative of your own character, and that means you can create your own NPC and other users can interact with your own NPC. So it's quite things like, it's not just creating the NPC with your own narrative, but it's also about evolving of the NPC. You create the narrative, a short sentence like character of space pirate who won the Wimbledon and want to go crypto mining, for example. And then this character start to evolve. It start to think. It's like AI starting to playing the role which you designed for him, and it's starting to evolve. Imagine if you're seeing the movie with Terminator and you want to know what's happening next, and you're just asking this character what's happening next. And this, since AI knows the narrative and it's evolving, it can give you some brief story what's happening after the timeline of the movie. And that's, we give our ability to users to create their own stories and to tell their own stories in the metaverse. So you can download through the QR code the mobile app and enjoy and give feedback. We are really happy to see that. So what about BITKRAFT? BITKRAFT is an infrastructure blockchain we designed especially for NFTs, since we have whole content inside about NFTs. So and what we actually bring quite new on the field. First of all, we made 3 things, new features on BITKRAFT, is upgradable NFTs. AI is a fact or make impact on the content, and content is always changing. You know, it's evolving and it's changing, and we also giving the ability to make this content be NFT again. But this requires from us to issue new NFTs, and that's why we invented the new feature so-called upgradable NFT. You can change the picture, or if you create, or you want to add something, or you want to make a collaboration of your art, or you want to create NFT of from AI art, which is evolving always, and you're using this feature to make NFT for your upgradable content. So the next point is time limit NFT. Time limit NFT is kind of new thing which we invented. Imagine, I mean, first example is a ticket. There is a valid date on a ticket, and after this valid date, NFT is not transferable anymore, which is quite a good thing for a charity. Like you want to go some NFT like museums, which you cannot move after some expiry date. But also we're inventing new idea, so-called a last owner of NFT. So imagine nobody can steal or replicate your identity of NFTs, which are represented by NFTs, and it will forever stay with you. And some people and players and who want to keep their identity, unique, they're really willing and looking for this feature. Also, we are inventing the idea of the non-hashed NFT, which is like putting the text about the item or inside NFT. Like an example, we work with Roborace and the charge cars. This idea is to put inside NFT the text about the car. It's like specification, which also represent a technical passport of the car, which when you buy the NFT, you also can buy the key from the car. So what's inside the cabin of Vekata? It's based on Polkadot, so it's based on Substrate. So Substrate designed by the Gavin Wood, who was the CEO of Ethereum. So that's why it's a bit faster than Ethereum. We adding there, we want to start from the very flat fee, like it's a small range, like $0.001 for average fee. Then of course it will be increasing, but we want to make it's this increase as less as we can. That's why we're actually doing now scientific research with the stress testing and put these fees as low as we can for creative industries, so to allow much more game producers to come and use Vekata just to be fun and run issue NFT for almost for free. So it's a very easy integration since we have SDK. It's also compatible with EVM of Ethereum, and it's super really very plug and play solution. So you can add there on your website and do things with NFT minting. So, but the core feature adding to this, we also have our own API. You can run your own auction in the game or in the application or on a website in the app where you can do the auction with your own audience, not sacrificing it and not asking your audience to go to Variable, OpenSea, or any other auction houses. So you can do the curating of your own audience with yourself. So with your own audience, not sacrificing that. And this is ability of Vekata. So the first integration of the app will be Sensorium Galaxy. As I said, they're going to be digital tickets, collectibles, all the content about NFT. So, which like avatars, each avatar is NFT. Avatars creating dance moves, which is also NFT. All of this like pyramid and myriads of NFT content will be based on Vekata. So the creators can buy the avatars, they can configure, customize them. Each avatar have NFT, each avatar will have the blockchain wallet. Then avatar with AI creates NFT content. This NFT content could go NFT marketplace, and collectors and buyers can get this content. It's all happening on Vekata. So you can download the QR code about Vekata. I can add something about like our big partner, which we have announced, is RoboRace. Vekata is focused on the companies that are going to be tomorrow future leaders. So the RoboRace is imagine AI races in the desert and in real cars, but being driven by AI. And these cars, I'm going to show you the screen. Wait a second, please. Yeah, it looks this way. So it's real cars. They are driving inside the desert, and these cars controlled by AI through the computer vision platforms, which have been designed by the different teams who are participating in the races. These teams are represented by MIT, Acronis, NVIDIA, and other big famous names. And AI control the car, not just passing the laps really quickly. No, it's much more tricky. They are collecting AR loot, or they need to go around AR barrier. So when they collect items, you see that they collecting the items, they add in the score. If they hit the barriers in AR, they deduct in the score. So it's a first hybrid project that is combined together the augmented reality metaverse and the real cars and the real racing field. And we work together with those gentlemen. They have really amazing team. So these races are based in Las Vegas, and also they have a race field in Abu Dhabi, which is in production stage. So that's probably all. If you have any questions, let me know.
Thank you, Alex, for the presentation. I don't see any right now, but I see so many people are actually well excited about this project. I mean, there's a lot going on, and I think you've done a great job in putting together, tech and actual use cases, you know, and found applications for it. So
it's I can say about roadmap about the Katsam, so give you some ideas where we are. As of today, we run the private testnet already. In December, we're planning to run the incentive testnet for validators, which means also we're going to invite big companies and all the brands and the company who want to be the validators for the gaming industry. We will be inviting them in December. And by the end, it means also we're closing the seed round by the end of November, which will already about oversubscribed, but still there is some slots. And then we planning to make several rounds, which is private round with private testnet by the end of February, and we planning to go live on the mainnet in the next year. Hopefully, it will happen probably in the May or June 2022. It's technically it's almost everything ready, except like we need to pass with all these investment activities. Okay. Like
amazing.
I'm the last one, so I can say like thank you for your time. Personally, I think that's you guys doing a really good job. That's we are a member of many different associations and organizations, but this is the first time ever I'm seeing such a type of organization that's really super 99 level engagement, like letting me see that new members coming. It's I would think it's like kind of a World Economic Forum for the gamers. I'm participating and I'm really super excited. You guys doing a really good job.
Thank you, Alex. It's much appreciated. We try to put all the efforts we can, and we totally love the type of appreciation we have from the audience. But, you know, it's all possible because of our members, so because of all of you. So thanks again for joining the BGA. I want to take this opportunity to learn more about what we do at www.blockchaingamealliance.org. If you wish also to join and become a member, you can find out more in the Join the BGA section. You can rewatch these as well whenever you want. It's going to be available on YouTube and also on Twitter and Twitch. So once again, thank you so much and welcome to all our members.
Thank you, and see you on Friday. We're having a demo day, this month's demo day on Friday, so don't miss it. Hope you can join as well on Friday.
See you on Friday.
Sure. It was a good pleasure.
4 p.m. CET. See you there.
Thank you, guys. See ya.
Thank you.
See you all. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.